Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here with Gallipoli. I don't know. I've been trying to. I said Gallipoli. I'm sure it's some kind of like different kind of supposed to be pronounced in a different language, so it actually rolls off the tongue really well, but. I don't know. 1915, so obviously the Great War, World War One. I've already done like a series on World War One, so I'm assuming this is a battle. This is like a battle or place or whatnot. But anyways, the what really got me interested in this is because the thumbnail had a bunch of different countries' flags on it, so I thought that was pretty neat. And I'm not. I might have heard this. I probably heard this. I'm just pronouncing it wrong. So there could be that. But yes. Yeah, we're gonna check and see what it's about. Cause like I was saying, I know it's like more of a recent World War One. Obviously, is more recent. It's modern warfare, but I like also seeing like different parts of the war that I never learned about or know about. And obviously, I know the main part of World War One, and I think this is more of like a side piece of World War One that doesn't get any attention, just like some other ones I've done on World War Two. And yeah, I want to check it out. I my glasses annoying you guys because when I look at myself, I can just see the reflection. I can go without them on. I mean, as long as I can hear it and kind of see what's going on, I think we're good. I'm just worried if it's a big distraction for you guys. So let me know. Uh, Now they got thumbprints all over them. I apologize for the delay, but we're gonna jump into this. Hope you guys are having a great day and all that fun stuff. And yeah, we're gonna do this. And by the way, like I've only been doing one video a day. It's been like a time crunch kind of thing, and it's been hectic trying to get the two out. When I was doing two, and so I feel like it's more laid back now. I don't feel like I'm like rushed, and it's just a lot easier for me. And so that's pretty much why I'm doing one video a day. And plus, when I started doing the two videos a day, the videos I were doing were like 10 minutes long each, and then they slowly got longer and longer, and eventually I was doing like over two 30-minute videos a day, and then this ended up just being a little too much. That's the reason it's down to one video a day. Who knows, you might get an extra video here or there, but pretty much that's kind of going to be how it is for now. I apologize for those of you that want two videos a day and prefer it. But anyways, we're going to jump into this. Before we do, please hit that like and subscribe button below. I'd really appreciate it. And we're going to get into this. 3, 2, 1, bam.
The Great War of 1914 to 1918 is full of memorable campaigns and battles, but even amongst the most famous engagements, the campaign in the Gallipoli Peninsula,
which is also really cool that these side battle whatever that are not really known. I guess I'll never run out of history because obviously there's always going to be these big battles that I've covered a lot of them, but you're also going to end up having these side things where no one really knows about. I'm sure those are going to pop up all over the place. So hopefully I never run out of content because history's got so much.
But even amongst the most famous engagements, the campaign in the Gallipoli Peninsula
Gallipoli?
shines through due to its
Gallipoli. Yeah, I guess that works.
unconventionality. It is widely accepted that both sides showed exemplary bravery, and the Gallipoli campaign remains in history as a symbol of gallant warfare and respect between two worlds.
Okay.
What were the reasons for this campaign, and what happened during it? Let's find out together.
Woohoo!
We're very grateful to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. ExpressVPN is consistently faster than other private information from being compromised. Also extremely affordable. Get Great War. The Ottoman Empire was to learn more.
Alright, sorry.
By the time of the start of the Great War, the Ottoman Empire was considered the sick man of Europe, on the decline for more than 2 centuries. Therefore, the Ottomans were not part of the core of either the Entente nor the Central Powers. Both sides courted the Turks, but a number of factors, including increasing investment by Germans in Turkey, historical animosity with the Russians, and the confiscation of 2 almost ready military ships ordered by the Ottoman Empire from Britain, persuaded the Ottomans to join the Central Powers. Symbolically, Ottoman participation in World War I began on the 27th of October 1914, when a number of Russian Black Sea ports were raided by 2 formerly German warships, Goeben and Breslau, which were given to the Ottomans and attacked under the Ottoman flag.
Wow.
The participation of the Ottoman Empire had a significant effect on World War I. The Ottomans forced Russia to divert some of its forces from its western borders fighting Germany and Austria-Hungary to the Caucasus front, while Britain and France had to allocate troops to fight the Ottomans in the Middle East. Furthermore, the Ottoman Empire was blockading supply routes from Britain and France to Russia since it controlled the Dardanelles and Bosporus.
Oh.
Hope for a quick victory was lost by late 1914. The Western Front was in a stalemate, and the Entente was looking to gain an advantage elsewhere. On January 2nd, 1915, the Grand Duke Nicholas...
I just find it amazing just how, like, evened out it seemed like these big wars were. Because it feels like, you know, I mean, just like one country turning to the other side, like the Ottoman Empire, if they decide, you know, to go, you know, with the Allies or whatnot, it seemed like the war had been a lot faster, been over a lot quicker. So it's kind of find it funny how it seems like both sides are very seem like be evened out in both wars. I mean, at least from the get go, anyway.
Where, on January 2nd, 1915, the Grand Duke Nicholas of Russia requested that Britain help them against the Ottomans, who confronted the Russians in the Caucasus. Britain and France started planning a campaign against Turkey with an aim to take control of the Dardanelles, gain a direct supply route to Russia, and devastate the Ottomans. The first step was to gain a foothold in the Gallipoli Peninsula. Britain's War Minister, Lord Kitchener, appointed General Sir Ian Hamilton to command the Mediterranean Expeditionary Forces. Troops from the Australian Imperial Force and New Zealand Expeditionary Force, the so-called Anzac Corps...
I get confused just because I jumped from war to war. So basically, right, you know, in the World War I, right, like the British are still like the number one like superpower in the world, pretty much, right? Is that kind of how it is? They're the superpower in the world at this time. I don't know why I'm asking this. I should know this off the top of my head. But anyways.
Imperial Force and New Zealand Expeditionary Force, the so-called Anzac Corps, and the French Orient Expeditionary Corps were also part of the Gallipoli campaign, among the 15 Allied divisions in total. The Allies did not expect strong opposition from the Ottoman army, as its military reputation was particularly tarnished after the recent defeats to Italy and the Balkan states. The First Lord of the Admiralty, Winston Churchill, was the initiator of the Gallipoli campaign, and he believed that 50,000 men would be enough to defeat the Ottomans. Lord Kitchener concluded that 70,000 troops would be necessary for a victory at Gallipoli. Leaders of the Greek army advised the British army about the necessity to have 150,000 men for a victory. This was arrogantly ignored by the British. Hamilton's plan was to land in the south of the Gallipoli Peninsula at Cape Helles and Sedel Bahir, move to the north, defeat the Turks and clear their batteries on the shores of the peninsula, and allow the navy to move through the straits towards Istanbul. The Ottomans defended the straits with the Fifth Army, which at the beginning of the campaign...
I'm guessing this war is not going to go as fast as the British think with their 50,000 troops, and they're going to need some backup. Because it seems like, you know, right now the British are just like, oh, no problems. All we got to do is show up and we're going to win. And obviously, and then from the outsiders saying, no, you need more men. Trying to warn you guys. I guess the British ain't take it seriously. And I guess you know, Britain's gonna kind of find out real quick that maybe you're gonna need more men. I mean, who knows? Maybe they just march in and win, but I don't think there'd be much of a battle or episode here if that's the case. No.
The Ottomans defended the straits with the Fifth Army, which at the beginning of the campaign consisted of 5 divisions. In all, 16 divisions took part in the Gallipoli campaign on the Ottoman side. The Fifth Army was commanded by German General Liman von Sanders. Another prominent military commander in charge of the Ottoman defense was Lieutenant Colonel Mustafa Kemal, a future founding father of the Turkish Republic. The Turkish and German commanders agreed that holding the high ground on the ridges of the peninsula was the best way to stop the Allies. They were unsure about the possible shores for the landing. Therefore, the Ottoman forces were divided into 3. The 19th Division under Mustafa Kemal and the 9th Division were placed at Cape Helles. 2 divisions were at Bulair in the north of the peninsula, protecting communication lines. The rest were stationed inland as a reserve. A major part of the campaign was the naval attack planned by the Allies. Since the Ottoman navy was considered very weak, the Allies decided to send their older warships to Gallipoli and keep the modern warships for a possible naval confrontation with the Germans in the north.
So Bespoke Post, they just send you a cool.
Oh
This
man.
is kind of awesome.
This thing is
North Sea.
I'm kind of curious what's the big difference between the older warships and the newer one is. I guess the firepower is not as great and the armor is not as great. You know, I'm just waiting for the pull up in wooden boats here. You know.
The modern warships for a possible naval confrontation with the Germans in the North Sea. On the 18th of March 1915, the Allied fleet, consisting of 18 battleships, numerous cruisers, destroyers and submarines, attacked the Dardanelles Straits. The Ottomans were planning to defend using shore batteries and sea mines. In theory, the Allied minesweepers were supposed to clean the straits from mines under supporting fire from the rest of the navy. But the Allies were so overconfident that they ignored this conventional tactic.
What?
Some of their warships were as close to the shore as 1 mile. This made them an easy target for the Ottoman shore batteries. British battleships HMS Irresistible and HMS Ocean
here we
were
go.
lost, and HMS Inflexible was badly damaged. The French lost the battleship Bouvet with 600 of its crew. These losses forced Admiral de Robeck to fall back and regroup. This defeat was devastating for the Allies, and
What do you think was gonna happen there? Just roll in there, like I said, they'll just show up and the Ottoman Empire is just gonna drop their guns. Say, okay, we give up. You guys are way too powerful for us. You guys win. I mean, this is their homeland. They're in a war here. I mean, they're gonna show up. They might not have be the best trained or the best, have the best stuff, but they're still gonna show up and defend it the best they can. I mean, taking them too lightly, obviously. They all just turn around like, we don't need these minesweeper guys. Yeah, they got they're just gonna throw water balloons at us.
fall back and regroup. This defeat was devastating for the Allies, and a huge boost to the morale of the Ottomans.
Yeah.
On the morning of the 25th of April, the Allies landed in 2 different parts of the peninsula. The Australians and New Zealanders landed at what has become known as the Anzac Cove, further north than they expected due to navigational errors. The goal of this landing was to advance inland and secure higher ground on Sari Bayir and to cut off the Ottoman troops in Kilit Bahir. The Ottomans did not expect a landing there, therefore only 2 companies were defending this beach. While this force was not enough to stop the Anzacs, unfavourable rocky terrain and Ottoman forces on the high ground inflicted significant damage.
Wow.
Anzac forces lost 2,000 men on the day of the landing and were not able to achieve any notable progress. They were ordered to dig in close to the shore. The second group landed at Helles Cove. 29th Division landed on 5 different beaches named S, V, W, X and Y. At Y Beach, the First Battle of Krithia took place, and the Allies made significant progress, but were not able to exploit the advantages of their position due to a lack of orders. The Ottoman 25th Regiment prevented them from advancing any further. At W Beach, the Lancashires lost 60% of their forces due to the Ottomans resisting their landing. The common theme of the landings on the 25th of April was that the Allies failed to exploit their advantages and continue advancing due to lack of orders. Instead, they decided to...
So basically, they had the firepower and they could have probably just, they could have taken over and, backed, Ottomans out of there. They just had, they didn't know what they were to do. I mean, the men are there, do we go forward? Do we go back there? And they're just waiting for their orders that are not coming because they can't just go rogue. They got to know what the deal is, what the game plan is. And they just got to sit back and wait. So, come on, guys, get your stuff together. You need the orders, man. These men need orders.
And continue advancing due to lack of orders. Instead, they decided to dig in on the shores, which proved to be counterproductive.
Yeah.
On the 27th of April, the Ottoman 19th Division and part of the 5th Division counterattacked the Allies at Anzac Cove, but were repulsed with the support of naval gunfire. On the following day, the Allies tried to take the village of Krithia, but the Ottomans were able to stop the 29th Division halfway from Hellas to Krithia after inflicting 3,000 casualties.
Damn.
The arrival of the Ottoman reinforcements to Gallipoli proved that the Entente failed to act swiftly, and the confrontation was going to turn into a war of attrition. On the 30th of April, Mustafa Kemal attacked at Hellas and Anzac Cove, and managed to break through the French sector, but had to stop under massive amounts of machine gun fire.
I'm just curious. I mean, this looks way too simple for this to even be possible, but I mean, they're all down here. Can they just get back in their ships and kind of go farther inland, farther up, because it'd be faster for them? Or I guess that wouldn't work. They would just kind of follow them along the coast. And it seems like get back in your ships and hurry up and get to the end down here, where there's no men. I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking it's a game and they can just hop in there real easy and shoot up the.
The Anzacs counterattacked on the next day, but were repulsed by the Ottomans after a little progress. The Ottomans were dependent on artillery fire from high ground on the peninsula to repulse the Allied attacks. It was of utmost importance for the Allies to take control of these high grounds for the success of the Gallipoli campaign.
Yeah.
On the 6th of May, 20,000 Allied men were sent to capture Krithia and the strategic high ground at Ashibaba. The Allies advanced after heavy artillery preparation, and for 2 days a fierce battle ensued, but they failed to capture either of the targets.
Come on.
On the 19th of May, 42,000 Ottoman troops aimed to take the 17,000 Anzacs by surprise and drive them into the sea. But the surprise failed, since on the previous day, the Ottoman preparations were seen by a British aircraft. The fighting went on until early June, when after 13,000 casualties, the Ottomans decreased the intensity of the attack and the lines consolidated. The final major engagement started on the 4th of June, when the Allies attacked Krithia and Ashibaba again with the 29th Division, Royal Naval Division, 42nd Division and 2 French divisions. This attack was stopped as well and led to another period of trench warfare. Hamilton's request for an additional 95,000 troops to secure success at Gallipoli was rejected, since another offensive on the Western Front was planned. Bulgaria.
So there's the 150,000 troops that were, I think it was Greece that they needed. Because they got 50,000, they said 150,000, 95,000, you make 145,000, right? So, man, you show up with that number to begin with. This battle and this war in this area is probably over. But nope. And yeah, it's not looking very good for the Allies, man. Come on, guys, you can do it.
Since another offensive on the Western Front was planned. Bulgaria's entry into the war on the side of the Central Powers made the situation for the Allies even more
Oh,
precarious.
dang.
The decision to evacuate troops was made. First, in September, 3 divisions were moved from Gallipoli to Salonika. Despite gloomy predictions, the Allies were able to safely evacuate the majority of their troops by the end of the year. Both sides lost 56,000 people in this short but bloody campaign. The Entente failed due to a lack of coordination, difficult terrain, insufficient planning, the spread of diseases, overconfidence, and spirited resistance by the Ottomans. As a result of this campaign, the confidence of the Ottomans greatly increased, and they managed a victory in Kut al-Amara in 1916 against the British. The attempt by the Entente to support Russia and lighten their military burden failed, which can be considered as one of the reasons behind the eventual revolution and the defeat of Russia. Britain and France continued prioritizing the Western Front, despite bloody and indecisive trench warfare. Churchill resigned from the government and volunteered for active service as a lieutenant colonel on the Western Front. The disaster in Gallipoli was also one of the factors behind the fall of the Asquith cabinet. The war continued for 3 more years.
Right?
We are planning to continue our series on modern warfare, so make sure you are subscribed to our...
Wow. See, I didn't know anything about this battle. Obviously, it's not like it was this huge like difference in the war, right? I mean, I guess it could have been if the Allies took there, but wow, like all the things I just said, they weren't prepared. They figured, they took them lightly, plain and simple. It took Ottomans lightly, and didn't think they had it in them, and they thought they would just march in there, like I said, and it wouldn't, be much of a fight. And yeah, you gotta respect your opponent, man. You gotta respect your opponent and be ready for what they could anything they could throw at you. Better be over prepared than under prepared, right? So, anyways, there you go. Let me know what you think of this battle, this war here. I'm kind of very surprised. I thought, the Allies would have got more pushed in there, but they really didn't get going at all. I mean, first they tried to go up that where the mines were, and that was a disaster. And then they land the wrong shore, and then they could have moved forward, but then they didn't get no orders. And by the time they get the orders, the reinforcements arrive, and then it's just the Ottomans they just had too many people. Like the Allies weren't going to push it back then because they were dug in up there, and they were just kind of hold their ground. And eventually, just too many people died. Wow, 50,000 people on each side died. I mean, that's a lot of people, and really nothing was settled. I mean, the Allies came in and didn't gain anything and left. So basically 100,000 people died, and there was no gain. I mean, obviously the Ottomans' gain is that they stopped them. So basically the Ottomans won that because that's all they wanted to do. They weren't trying to win the war there. They were just trying to push them out of their land, and they did that. So wow, I actually thought the Allies were going to come out on top of this because obviously they won the war, the World War I, but they didn't. So it's, surprising. And lessons learned here, guys. Let me know what you think about this battle below if you even knew about it. I'm sure you guys over on the other side of the pond probably knew more about this than me, obviously, because I didn't really know anything about it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and all that good stuff. And anyways, yeah, peace. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Catch you guys in future videos. Always like watching videos that just catch my eye, and so just keep suggestions coming. And I might randomly pick one. So anyways, check you guys later, and yeah, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'm out. Peace.